What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Check from this place, Sonic Unleashed Part 26. We are here at the front of the Apotos hot dog stand, and I decided to go ahead and put the hot dog missions in their own video, just because there are so many of them, one in every continent, and they're a day and night mission that you have to complete. And I decided to go ahead and at least show one mission out of each trial for both the day and night for each continent. The hot dog missions fall under 5 different categories: time trial, clear the level before the time runs out; battle trial, clear the level with enough kills; ring trials, clear the level with the requested amount of rings; or survival. So I guess there's 4. Clear the level without healing and reduced health bar. Survival, you only see that during the nighttime missions. And there will be, I'll go ahead and talk to Don Facio's Apotos hot dog stand. Hey there, welcome to Don Facio's Apotos hot dog stand. But if you don't clear my missions, I won't sell to you. I've got lots of missions to challenge you with. You can see there are we have a time trial mission here, a battle trial, and a ring trial. These are the 3 missions that you can do during the day. Time trial, finish Windmill Isle Act 1 in under 4 minutes 30 seconds. Collect or beat over 15 foes, and grab 100 rings. So there are 3 different levels that for each mission, and they all fall under each one of those categories, and they cost different. You can see the 10 on the far side of these missions here. Well, that's how many rings it costs to do each time you fail. You know, if you fail, you have to still pay 10 rings. Well, for level 2, you pay 20 rings. For level 3, you pay 30 rings. Well, you gain a prize for clearing these missions. Not only all the experience points and rings that you gain from playing it, but you also gain a hot dog. Well, you can give the hot dogs to Chip. You have to gain that trophy or achievement. And you can also gain 70 experience points by eating the hot dogs yourself with either Sonic, which is pretty useful. Now, for beating level 1, you gain 1 hot dog. For beating level 2, you gain 2 hot dogs. And for beating level 3, you gain 3 hot dogs. Well, you can, as I said, you can give all those to Chip except for the Scorcher dog, which we get in Missouri. I'll talk more about that later. And you can also help increase you can help yourself out by increasing all of your stats before playing these trials, which I definitely suggest. Trying to go through some of these missions, it'll definitely help you out if you do that. You can earn up to 30 of each hot dog except the doggone dog, which I'll talk more about later. Look out for shortcuts that'll help you out, especially during the daytime missions. And the vendors become available after beating either the day or night stages. But you have to beat both the day and night stage to unlock both the day and night hot dog vendor. But so enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and go into the first time trial mission. This one's pretty easy. Let's see how stylish you can make it look. So they will give you a kind of a hint to grab those rings and keep on boosting. That will tell you how to get through that pretty efficiently. Just keep on boosting and try to get to the end. But as I said, the levels will not be any different. They will be the exact same as they were before, except there will be no collectibles that we can gain by going through here, which is pretty nice. You know, it's nice not to have to worry about the collectibles while going through here and doing these missions, and it also gives you a chance to play some of these levels that you may not have played in a little while, like Apotos. While I do practice it a lot of the time, it's not one of my go-to areas just to play and to mess around in. So that's why I like to do these hot dog missions, because they do help you out. Now, however, the farther you go along, obviously, they will get harder, because you have to oh crap, wrong button. Because you have to worry about the time dropping. You know, you start out with 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes now, and I will talk about each the requirements to beat. Crap. Really? You can see every time you have to retry, the rings do get deducted from you, which is pretty nice. You know, you don't have to go to the menu screen and mess around, or go back out to the outside and mess around with that. I guess the only thing that would be different is that there are no checkpoints. There will be no checkpoints for either the day or night stage. You know, it's a time trial. Most games do not, well, I would say all games that have a time trial feature do not give you a checkpoint to allow you to go on. Huh. I don't know, I guess that's just so they didn't have to remove it, I guess. You'd think it would make more sense to go ahead and remove it, but, you know, either way. Anyway. You will have to practice a lot of the time to be able to get through the levels as quickly as possible. It does take a little bit of practice to be able to get used to having to go through a level fast or quickly, especially during the nighttime stages. With me, I'm more inclined to just take it slow to try to get the S rank, so I'm not that good with going through those levels rapidly. But you definitely want to do that while you are playing those missions, and I'll talk more about that once I get to them. The shortcuts, as I said before, you want to try to go after every shortcut you can find. You want to try to go after stay on the high road as much as possible. That will definitely help you out. And this being one of the tutorial stages, the hint rings will still be there. Sadly, it does kind of hurt. Oh crap! No, damn it. It does kind of hurt to have to deal with those. But because you have all of the let's see. There we go. But because you have all of your moves, it should be a little bit quicker, because there's a lot of, I don't know why my boost isn't working for some reason. Because there's a lot of areas where you couldn't get through because you didn't have the right upgrades, such as areas where you could use the air boost. Crap. Where you could use the air boost efficiently, not there. But just areas like that. But anyway, so there really isn't that much to talk about, to be quite honest. You know, it's just the levels that you have to do. You just go through different the levels over again. You don't have to do anything special, except you do lose. You do have to pay 10 rings to get in. That's another reason why you would want to try to collect as many rings as possible. Just because you can, so that you can keep doing these hot dog missions without having to grind a lot to go through these missions. And just doing the missions themselves, especially the level 1 missions, that will definitely help you out money-wise, because especially areas like here in Apotos, you can gain a good amount of rings as long as you don't lose them, as well as Spagonia. The rooftop run day stage, you can definitely gain a lot of rings there by doing that level. As I said before as well, I definitely suggest trying to upgrade all of your skills as much as possible. Trying to go after both the speed and ring and max rings will definitely help you out while trying to go through here. Learning when to boost will also help you out. Learning when to air boost. It will take practice for you to be able to get through this every time immediately. But once you learn all the areas where you can use the boost and air boost, that'll definitely help you out a lot more than not using it. Remember, just take shortcuts. I would definitely suggest going to the left there along that tight side alley. That will definitely help you out. Reaction time will definitely help you out trying to get through a lot of those sections where you have to slide underneath the low sections. That will definitely help you out. Remember just to stay as high as you can, and just try to do everything you can by yourself. And always, obviously make sure you get those quick time event ramps. Alright, there we go, and two 2 minutes 5 seconds. That's pretty good. So let's see. Mission cleared. And as I said before, you can gain the experience points you gain. But you really, only in the battle trials do you actually need to get the, or use the experience. Well, I guess where you can actually farm the experience. The time trials, you really cannot waste a lot of time trying to kill too many enemies. Sweet, nice going, Sonic. I felt the breeze all the way back here, haha. And here's your prize, a custom-made hot dog just for you. You got a Breezy dog, so this is the regional hot dog for Apotos, which is called the Breezy dog. And as I said, I will be doing at least level 1 for each mission. Level 2, get it in 3.5. Battle trial, beat over your real pepper pot going after a mission like this, but hey, I like it hot. Go get 'em, Slugger. It's not complicated. Beat down those baddies. Don't miss any as you're zooming around there, Speed Demon. Another hint tells you to take your time, be slow, be cautious, try to kill as many enemies as possible, and you shouldn't have any trouble with it. I do not believe they actually give you any extra enemies. I could be wrong though. I'm not 100% sure with this, with these battle trials. I don't actively practice them. I pretty much get them in one go. It's the trial missions the time trial missions that I have to practice for. So right now I'm more used to those because I played them longer. Score does not matter, so you do not have to worry about that. So I would definitely suggest go ahead and backing up and going back to that one area with all of the egg fighters back there. I guess I could just kill myself and go back, but it doesn't really matter. There isn't really that many enemies here in Apotos. Yeah, I need to. I'm just sitting here wasting time. But there isn't too many enemies here in Windmill Isle Act 2. As I've said before, this is kind of a tutorial stage. Oh, you still have to get to the end? Okay, well. So I guess don't worry about it. I thought it was just like the destroyer missions in the for the NPC missions. Just get to the end as quickly, or just defeat as many enemies as possible. Well, as quickly as possible, I guess I should say, instead of as many as possible. But as I said before, you shouldn't gain I do not believe you actually gain a bonus for however many enemies you kill, outside of just experience points. So if you care about experience points, you will definitely want to try and kill as many as possible. But if you don't care, you may just want to try to get through these as quickly as possible. There really is no strategy to this. Just try to make sure that you collect as many enemies early on or in big clumps as possible. You don't really have to necessarily take the lower routes either. The lower routes usually have a lot more enemies than the higher routes. So that's an area you can look at, especially once you get to the level 2 and 3 hot dog missions. But for the most part, you don't have to worry all that much about worry all that much about trying to find enemies to kill, especially on the level 1. You don't have to worry about it at all. And if you notice there, I only need 5 more moon medals to be able to gain the level 7. The level 7 for the moon medals. Wow, you made short work of them. I tell you, it felt good just watching. And here's your prize, a custom-made hot dog just for you. So that's another Breezy dog. I will, once I gain all the hot dogs, I will eat them and just to show off how you eat, what you do while you're eating them. So here's a ring trial to beat over 20 foes. Pretty easy. 30, however, will be a little bit more difficult because, as I said, there's not that many enemies there to find. Hey, nice. You a ring fan too? Man, I just can't get enough of them. I mean, they're so shiny. The key to collecting rings is not to get hurt. The rest takes care of itself. Keep the prickly areas in mind. well, that kind of ties into also going along the faster routes, the shortcuts. The shortcuts usually don't have that many enemies or traps to go through, and as long as you stay high, you shouldn't have to worry about them. But you know, all of these times and the times and the amount of rings that you have to collect are not will not be throughout the entire mission process. You know, every continent will have its own set of challenges. A lot of the time they will be the same. You know, you may have to defeat 15 enemies in the Missouri or Holoska battle trial, but for the most part they will be different, and so that you cannot go through, say like here, and to train for, say, somewhere like Spagonia or Holoska, just because they're, you know, the levels are different by themselves, and the amount of rings that you can collect is also different. While I do suggest this as a pretty good ring collecting area, just because there's not that many traps, and you don't have to worry about traps and everything like that all that much. I would definitely suggest Spagonia over Apotos any day. And one thing that will definitely help keep you alive is to try to learn the course as much as possible. You know, maybe if you're not pressed for time like I am, and a lot of normal people won't be, but you may want to try the other levels for both the time trial and battle trial, so that you can learn the best place for rings. And it's not a bad idea to go ahead and look ahead to see what kind of the missions that you have coming up next. I don't know where I'm going. That is one bad place. That is one bad area for here, and you can see why the right side is not a very good area for trying to make up time. But as you can see here, I only have about 390. As I've said before, you can get close to 900 rings in Spagonia, which makes it a better place by default for collecting rings. But that also means that the ring mission there will be very difficult. I believe for the third level you have to gain, and watch me mess that up. I usually don't hit that rainbow ring. I'm surprised I have been for like 3 times in a row here. You can see about 467 rings, not too bad. For Spagonia level 3, you have to collect 800 rings, so that'll definitely be difficult. And again, you know, you want to try to stay away from the enemies, especially while you're doing these ring trials. But for the most part, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. And so I may cut out the loading times between going to the different continents. Just, you know, I'll appear in front of the hot dog stands. I may actually do that. I don't know yet. That ding ding ding, that ding 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 as you grab a line of rings sliding along a rail. Man, that's the sound of pure joy. And here's your so third breezy dog. As I said before, I'll eat them once I get to once I finish the last mission I'm going to do. But so I'm going to go ahead and go to the Spagonia hot dog stand. See you in a second. Alright, so I had forgotten to do the nighttime missions. Hey there, welcome to Don Facio's Apotos hot dog stand. So I say the same thing at night, no matter what time it is. So during the night we have a time trial, or the survival time trial. Consistently is the only thing that's consistent, pretty much. This one's pretty easy. Let's see how stylish you can make it. Which bad guys to tackle, which paths to take. It's up to you to make the right choices to save precious time. So this kind of plays into the fact that you have to try to hurry up and be a little bit fast trying to go through these sections, because you don't have a lot of time to mess around defeating enemies, trying to be careful really. And if you play the game like I do, you cannot waste time collecting anything, no matter what it is. And you have to be very careful on how you kill enemies, especially with little enemies. If you're leveled up all the way, you do have to try to go through these as fast as possible. You cannot mess around killing people, dragging out enemies' deaths, especially these little Rexes. yeah, it does, you know, it is a pain to try to pick and choose which one is dead or not, but, or, you know, try how to, well, how to pick and choose when they're dead and which ones to not go after. And that will just increase over time as you go along. But for the most part, it's not too difficult. This is just a switch, yeah. But you know, as you go along, you get to titans and different bigger enemies. You'll definitely want to try and definitely pick and choose who to kill. And I definitely suggest do not waste time with the critical attack. There's just no point in wasting time with it. While it is a good concept to say, oh yeah, you know, I can go through and, or I would like to go through and kill all these enemies as quickly as possible with the critical attack. Well, it's I'm kind of basing this off of the way I play and the challenges that I have. And since, if you remember, when I was doing Eggman Land or Robotnik Land, I had such a difficult time going through and doing having with those critical attacks. Well, my luck seems to have turned around to a point where if I wanted to, I could sit here and go through here and defeat all of these, you know, get all of these enemies with the critical attacks. But because I'm killing them, because I'm so strong and these are pretty weak enemies, I don't have to worry about that. That's another good thing to try to do is, before going into doing these hot dog missions by themselves, upgrade your strength and your combos. If you haven't already, go ahead and do it. If you haven't upgraded Daytime Sonic at all, or maybe just a little bit, definitely go for it. You know, there's no reason why you shouldn't. It'll definitely help you out in the long run. You'll get through these missions a lot faster. You won't have to worry about wondering whether I can make it or not, especially on some of those harder daytime time trial missions. You'll be able to go through and beat them very easily. Now, for these Little Rex battles, you don't want, especially in an open area like this, you won't have too many open areas that are exactly like this. You don't have to worry about that all that often, or you don't have to worry about this all that often, but you definitely want to try and not let them run amok too much. You don't want to let them get too far away from you or out of your line of sight. To see whether something is dead or not, you can hit them and your combo counter should come up. Well, that is kind of bad, especially if something is already dead. You will just, you know, especially if they have a long dying animation, you'll just increase their dying animation, especially like, you know, see how they take so long to die. The nightmares take a little while to die, so you want to try to be careful with it, but in the long run, it's a lot easier to go ahead and do that while they're down than to come back and see whether they're alive or not. Wasting time, well, taking time to collect all these rings and these the Chaos Experience Diamonds. Once you get down to level 2 or 3, especially depending on the level, you don't want to waste time with it. There's just no point. Level 1, you should be able to consistently go after it. You shouldn't have a problem with it, unless you get into a section. Unless you get into larger fights, especially like the fight with the Big Mother and Shunan. Okay. Or an area that is kind of long like this. You know, we have to travel a good ways back to try to get that gem for the pedestal. You don't want to waste too much time going after all of these. You don't want to waste too much time going after all of these rings and different things like that. Rings especially, you know, there's no reason for you to waste time trying to go after a ring. Even though I'm sitting here doing it myself. And it doesn't seem like you can actually collect rings while you're using your aerial attacks, which is kind of a shame, but, you know, hey, I understand it to a degree. They make it too easy. But anyway, so I'm doing pretty good. About 5 minutes in, and I'm probably close to the halfway mark, if I'm not already there. I don't really look at this. I don't look at these levels like that, you know, the halfway mark and all that. So I'm not really sure where exactly I'm at. And you also want to be careful, especially on platforming sections like this. You know, once you get into Empire City, you definitely want to be very careful with those ledges with the spikes on them. You know, where you can't save yourself. You see, like here, yeah, I can save myself, but not in Empire City. So you want to kind of balance it out between going slow and fast, and try to center the camera right behind you. For whatever reason, this camera won't. But in Empire City, Sega did a pretty good job with making sure that the camera would become centered behind you. Another trick you can do is to jump across these ledges while you're walking on them. These side ledges, you know, there's nothing you really can do about it, except for, come on, what the hell? Okay, except for jumping like this, you'll be able to catch yourself every time, so you don't have to worry about that by itself. Ah, crap. Okay, well, but you know there is no downside to it outside of just collecting rings. I would definitely suggest not doing that if you're doing the level normally or trying to go for the S rank. But if you're trying to complete these hot dog missions, go for it. There is no reason why you shouldn't jump across those ledges and miss, you know, rings or whatever. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter, to be quite honest. But if we were doing level 3, we would be doing pretty good, even though we do have to deal with this Titan. If you do have Unleashed, I definitely suggest going ahead and using it, and try to use it a little bit more often than I normally do. There's no reason not to be quite honest. Always watch out for the Titan. You know, you want to be very careful while dealing with him. Try to kill him as quickly as possible. You can see being pretty high level in strength definitely does help. If you're not pressed on time, I would definitely suggest go ahead and try to collect everything you can, especially if you fought a Titan or a Big Mother. Just try to collect all of the Chaos Experience Diamonds. And something that will definitely help you out while you're trying to do the other missions is to treat level 1, no matter which mission it is, treat it like level 3. So, like, say if we were doing level 3, we would be tasked with getting through the level in 10 minutes. Plenty of time. Took me about 8.5, I think, or 8:16. Plenty of time. I was not pressed for time at all. I was not worried in the least bit, and that's good. And so now, when I come back through here, each time I can just do the exact same thing because I've already done it the first time, and I know I can mess around in this big courtyard here. I can go after every Chaos Experience Diamond, and I may want to try to go back and collect a few more rings. You can experiment with that a little bit, but you always want to make sure you do that on level 1. But just trying to get through the level as quickly as possible is always the best strategy. But you can see here, gaining a lot of rings. That's always useful. Sweet, nice going Sonic. I believe he'll say the same thing no matter which time of day it is. So I won't really worry about talking with him all that much. Survival. No healing guard will to stay alive. You sure about this one, Chief? If not, too bad. It's too late now. Pretty much. Just take a look at your life count. Maybe now you see just how serious this mission is, eh? So level 1. Let me see. The level 1 missions, your life bar will be full, so you don't have to worry about it. But you cannot heal. That's the big thing. You cannot heal. There will be no rings for you to heal with. So that will cause a problem, especially in later levels where you have to heal, especially once you go into level 2 and 3, namely Shamar, Adabat, those areas. But that's why you want to try to not only upgrade your life for the survival missions, but also upgrade your strength so that you can kill the enemies as quickly as possible, so you don't have to worry about dying. You can go through a little battle like this and not take any damage at all whatsoever. So that'll always help you out if you're worried about that. But upgrading the health bar, definitely a good thing to go through these missions with. it will take a while, and you may need to grind a little bit. You know, you'll have to grind anyway if you want to try to go through and beat these levels. But for the most part, you shouldn't have to worry about it. And for these survival missions, unless you have just a big enough problem with them, or if you're not confident with the critical attack, which I would definitely suggest not doing it, but this is a good time to do it now if you felt confident with it, or you don't have a problem doing quick time events. Now would most definitely be the time to go through and do the critical attacks, because you can mess around all day and you don't have to worry about it at all. The only problem here in this level will be the Titan. That will be the biggest fight that you'll have to worry about. Maybe a few fights with the Titan, or where you have deep nightmares. They may give you a little bit of trouble, just because they like to block a lot. But for the most part, again, just treat this like a level 3 mission, which your life bar will be at its lowest point. It will be about the 3/4 mark. So you definitely want to be very careful while doing that mission, obviously. The other upgrades still will be available: the attack upgrade, the unleashed upgrade, and the defense upgrade will, where they're available in the battles, they will be available to you. So it would pay well to definitely watch out for those. And again, as I was saying, use the unleashed a lot more than you would normally, especially because you don't have to worry about, or you don't have the time or the health to use the quick time events, especially if you're like me and you don't have that much luck with them every time you try to do them. Through this fight, I would definitely suggest, even though we are killing every one of these enemies very quickly, you still may want to use your unleash just to try to get through here a little bit faster. You can see I took damage for whatever reason. Maybe I think it was I didn't get to those nightmares quick enough, and they got a few hits off on me. But that's okay. It's not big. That's not big damage, so you don't have to worry about it. But going along these ledges here, you definitely want to try to jump and get across them as quickly as possible. Again, ambushing enemies will definitely help you out. Not only will it help you get through sections quicker, the time trial battles quicker, because you can just ambush a group of enemies either just as they spawn, or if they have their backs to you, like that egg fighter did. You can knock them out quickly. You don't have to worry about them at all. That will definitely help you out. Now, like with this fight, I would say, you may go for the unleashed, use it, be able to at least defeat that deep nightmare very quickly, and you won't have to worry about anything. If you can get your strongest triangle punch out on the deep nightmares, you'll be able to kill them in one shot. If you have the unleash turned on, which is always useful. Maybe not this deep into the level, because you still have to worry about the Titan. But if you have your skills the exact level as mine are, you shouldn't have a problem at all with the Titans. I beat that Titan pretty quickly, even though I didn't, even with my unleashed being turned off. I think it was anyway. I'm pretty sure, but even if you don't, I am strength level 7. Shouldn't have a problem with the Titans at all whatsoever. But that does not mean that you can take them for granted either. They are still Titans, and you do want to be very careful while dealing with them. Come on. So you just watch out, take it easy, be careful, and you shouldn't have too much trouble. Now you see with this ledge, with every ledge that you can walk on, always do that, because it's a lot faster than crawling across it, like on the side of it. Just remember to jump. You should not have to worry at all about jumping. Jumping across these ledges, you shouldn't have any worry at all, and you definitely want to try to practice, especially before getting into Empire City, especially with its the saw blades that are along the side ledges. You'll definitely want to practice going into that fight into that level anywhere you can. You know, Missouri, Spagonia, here, just anywhere you can. Definitely practice. Just anything that gives you trouble, just practice as much as possible on the easier levels. You shouldn't have any trouble whatsoever. So you can see here my reason, the reason why I didn't want to waste the Unleashed so early, but you know, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. We've got a defense, not only a defense, but a strength upgrade, which isn't as good as a as an Unleashed, but it definitely does help. It's about there strength-wise. You can see I still took a little bit of damage, not too bad though. I'm just glad I didn't take damage while doing the time trial. You definitely want to try to practice enough so that every time you do the time trial, you don't have to worry about anything. And make sure if you are wasting time to go after the Chaos Diamonds, you get them immediately without wasting too much time and without losing them. Because if you're gonna take the time it takes to go after the Chaos Diamonds, you definitely want to try to make sure you collect as many as possible. I think that's about the max, close to 9. So we'll definitely upgrade our life, which is always useful. Then I guess I'll put some more into life. It will definitely help us out in the long run. But that's 5 Breezy Dogs. If you just do level 1 for each mission, you'll gain 5 hot dogs for each area. That's about 300. That is 350 experience points. I'm not sure. That's not Chaos Diamonds now. That just points, individual points. That was totally sweet. I'm all pumped from watching you. My chest is seriously pounding. Should I see a doctor here? And here's the Breezy Dog. I will try to remember to put some, you know, where it belongs. But anyway, I guess won't cut to go to each area, even though I should. It'll definitely save time while recording, so that I can make more video, or you know, devote more time to the hot dog missions. But you know, anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and head to Spagonia now and do some of the missions there. The order in which I do these hot dog missions will be the same order in which I unlocked all the continents. So you know, start with Apotos, Spagonia, Missouri, Haloska, Chunnan, Shamar, Empire City, then Adabat, then Robotnik Land. But anyway, and I'll always do the daytime missions first, just because they're a little bit easier. And they don't take up all that much time. Come all to Don Facio's Spagonian hot dog stand. But if you I prepared a lot of juicy missions for you. Time trial mission, finish in 7 minutes, which is easy, very easy. So again, the hints, they will be the same every time you go into a mission, no matter which mission it is. Grab those rings and keep on boosting. I believe the only thing that's different is just the what the hot dog stand vendor says. I believe that's different between each continent. Okay. Not going to be able to take as much time as I would like to try to collect rings, so I may not get all that many rings. And even when I'm grinding for rings, I don't waste time going after rings. I don't, you know, mess around and go after rings. I don't go along any lower sections. I try to stay up as high as I can. So I guess I may be able to collect the same amount of rings that I normally can. It'll definitely help me out trying to go through here in the long run, or trying to stay up high, to not only make sure that I do not lose my rings, but also to make sure that I can stay up higher and live. Ah, crap, really? What the hell? Yeah, that's a bad glitch that sometimes will happen. You'll get to those. You'll get to the rails, and you'll, well, at least that one rail, and you'll want to fly off of it. which is pretty bad, but you know, there really isn't nothing you can do about it. Just try to be careful and maybe not boost in that section, but I always do, and I usually come out pretty good every time. Oh wait, crap. Oh well, that kind of sucks. I wanted to stay up a little bit higher, but oh well. Nothing I can really do about it right now, but you can see just the sheer amount of rings that can be collected here. You do want to be careful for that one, what do you call those? Oh, I can't think of the name of them right now. The cannons that you push the buttons to make them work. Now, I really cannot think of the names for them right now, but those you want to be careful, especially with that one, because it doesn't. It sometimes won't hit that robot and you'll lose rings. So you always want to be careful while going through there. Crap. I hit the wrong button. I don't know why, but I keep hitting the wrong buttons going through those sections. Just remember, stay up as high as possible. And through this section, you definitely want to be very careful. For time trial purposes, just, well, for any time, just hang on the bottom. You won't get hit at all. And then just boost all the way down. You will not have any trouble whatsoever. While time trials, don't waste time with all of those enemies, but if you are doing this just normally, I definitely suggest trying to go after all of those enemies, because in the long run it will definitely help you out. It will take a little bit of getting used to, and I haven't actually grinded for rings in a little while, but it's actually pretty easy to collect every ring, or most every ring, along those arrow chaser, or those, what are they called? Those, I guess they are arrow chasers, aren't they? The arrow chaser sections, you'll definitely help yourself out by going through there and trying to collect every ring. You know, it does take a little bit of practice, but not that much. These barrel sections are unpredictable. Damn it. Well, there goes my 800, but the barrel sections are unpredictable just because you never know how many barrel or what the barrels will be. But yeah, that is a shame. It matters more if you get hit while you're boosting. You'll lose more rings that way. I believe the highest amount of rings you can actually lose is close to 300. Oh, not 300, but 200, if I'm not mistaken, and I may very well be. Now those quick time pads will not change. There will be circle, X, and square every time, which is pretty useful, especially when you're trying to go through there fast and not have to, you know, you can just rifle off the buttons each time. You don't have to worry about it at all. I guess I usually go up here. But anyway. Oh, crap. Yeah, you want to touch every rail that you can. And you want to stay up here because you won't lose as many rings. Oh, shit. By the barrels falling on you, you know, you very well may boost into a barrel with spikes on it, losing more rings. Okay, so this is a section that you can lose rings every, I don't know why that happens, but, you know, just sometimes it will. Really? I was almost done, too. That sucks. But yeah, you know, sometimes the lasers will just, usually they're supposed to fire both at the same time. If they do that, you'll never get hit by the lasers. But if they fire if the left one is delayed even by the slightest bit, like what happened just now, you'll get hit every time. You'll lose rings, and that will ruin any chances of going after 800 or trying to do the third hot dog mission here, because the task there is you're supposed to collect 800 rings. I can't boost for some reason. Usually I can get a boost going through there, but yeah, so you want to be very careful while going through that section. Just, you know, in that section, just try to collect as many rings as possible. You may want to try to let off the boost as soon as you get onto that rail. That may help you out. I haven't actually practiced that idea until just now, and I see it seems to work. So whatever works. Stomping there doesn't help because it wastes too much time by you being in the air, especially while you're doing time trials. You want to try to keep Sonic on the ground as much as possible because you'll gain the most time that way. The longer you stay in the air, the more time that you have to mess up. Crap. Well, that sucked. I didn't mean to do that. I was trying to go back to the middle, but I kind of just panicked at the last second and tried to go back because I don't normally go along that middle set of rings. But oh well, there goes my 800 again. But I guess there's nothing I can do about it now. I'll just try to collect as many rings as possible and just go on with it. It's pretty much all you can do. But anyway, so just as I said, trying to collect all the rings through here, trying to collect all of the Chaos Diamonds you can going through there. You can actually get it to 4, level 4 experience bar, I guess the 4th experience bar or whatever. I'm not exactly sure the right term for that bar or how what's the proper what you call it, I guess. Oh crap! Whoa! Don't want to get tripped up on that roof like that. But anyway. Okay, so just you want to watch the barrels. For that kind of section, you just have to jump. There's no other way that you can get through there. I'm not even sure that you can jump to bypass that section. I'm not sure. I've never tried. But anyway, nothing else that we can do. Come on, jump up. There we go. Okay. Take it easy through there, because if you boost, you have a very high chance of missing and dying, so you just want to be very careful while going through that section. Hitting the buttons on those quick time pads before you land really isn't. You'll gain nothing. Trying to go through and getting the S rank, you'll actually gain a few points while by doing that. But in the long run, you won't. Trying to do a mission, the only thing that will help you do is just save time by being on those pads, because they do give you a few seconds to try to figure out the button combination. And this will change every time, so you definitely want to be very careful. And the first one I believe will always stay square, but the okay, so there we go. So if they both fire at the same time, you'll never have a problem with it. The middle one won't fire while you're on the rails until you get to here. You just dodge in whichever way the lasers are not firing. Gain a lot of rings through here. Gain a lot of Chaos Diamonds through here. Trying to destroy as many egg fighters will definitely help you out in the long run, which is actually pretty easy. You just follow the trail of rings, and you can go after as many egg fighters as possible. You can see, didn't kill every arrow chaser. I have knocked them all out before, but oh well. It's about only 500, about 600 rings, which isn't my best by far. But there's nothing I can really do about it right now. So anyway, that was the time trial mission for this. I don't know this. I may have to cut these videos up as well. I would like to not do that and fit them all into one video, but they're just gonna take so long, especially as I go farther into it. They could write ballads about the way you ran spikes, swaying in the breeze. Bravo. Here, take this as just a little hot dog, but I thought of you while making it. Enjoy. Brainiac dogs. That's the regional hot dog for Spagonia. But he beat over 30 foes, which is you'll gain a lot of time by going through those. I just knew you'd select this one. It's an all you can punch buffet. Enjoy. remember the place with all the enemies, that right there is the sweet spot, which is both of the arrow chaser runs. That'll definitely help you out. But anyway, the missions, they take a while to do. You just have to do it. There's nothing you can do. So I may have to devote 2, possibly 3 videos to going through and beating to defeat all or to get all of the missions, or all the hot dog missions out of the way. I don't know. I still kind of out whether to do them all. They are difficult. I'm not going to do level 2 or 3 as I've said before, but I will. But I don't have any problem with doing the. Oh wait, I don't want it. Come on, just drop. There we go. Yeah, waste. Oh, I guess not on a time trial, so it doesn't really matter. Gain a few hits through there. Remember to let off the boost while you're going through that section. You won't gain as many rings while going through there, but you'll make sure that you live every time. So especially if you're trying to go after an S rank run, or a time trial, or doing a mission run, that'll definitely help you out. And not doing so good in the enemy department, but as we go along, there isn't too many enemies in the town sections. Once you get out of town, you'll find some more enemies. As I said before, going along the arrow chaser sections, you'll find most of your enemies there. The diving sections, the skydiving sections, really aren't. Sega did a better job in later games. This is the first time I'm sure that they've done something like that. So, it's to be expected that there will be a few problems with it. Just the movements aren't as tight as I would like to be able to comfortably go through there and try to go after all of those rings there, or whatever collectibles that may be in that section. But you can see you will gain a lot of enemies while going through that section. The arrow chasers that are killed by crashing into those pillars, I do not believe you gain. I tried to look for that first one that got hit. I did not see the counter go up. It was at 17 before he got hit, and it stayed at 17. You can gain a lot of enemies through here. That's not a bad area to try and get 4 enemies through there. You will not lose any enemies. You don't have to worry about that. But as you go along, it will take more enemies to kill, and I will talk about all of them once I get to the end. With the end of all these missions, sometime after I eat the final hot dog, I will talk a little bit more about the missions. Go into a little bit more specifics about the different levels, just to make sure that I don't waste time while doing this. Just to try to devote as much time for these videos as I can into actually doing the missions, just because, as I said, there are so many missions, about five missions per area. That's about, I'm not good with, that's about 40 missions that I'm going to have to do. They all take time to do, especially as I said, you go further on into the game, the levels will get longer. You can see how big of a boost you gain. You still can get crushed, but usually those last set of barrels won't kill you. Just to make sure they don't. Crap! Really? That's BS. That they fire randomly like that. But oh well. Okay, so this is where you will gain a lot of your time. Instead of focusing on rings, you want to try to focus as much as you can on going after the egg fighters while trying to kill the arrow chasers. The more arrow chasers you can kill, the more experience, the more robots you can gain, or the more kills that you can gain. You do want to be careful though. You really cannot control where you send a robot, especially if you hit him with the homing attack, or with the boost, you can't really decide where it goes, but let's see what the mission there is. Spagonia defeat. Defeat 80 enemies. Wow. Okay, so I guess I didn't do that good of a job there, but you know, oh well. Just go through a lot of the lower sections and some of those open areas with enemies that they can be easily missed. You want to take your time, try to kill as many of them. As I said, try to kill as many enemies while doing the arrow chaser sections. That'll definitely help you out in the long run. But anyway, they could about the way you landed those homing attacks. Bravo. Okay. Another Brainiac dog. As I said, you'll gain 5 of them while doing these. You'll gain 5 different types of hot dogs while doing these missions. A ring trial, get 100 rings. Not a problem. The problem will be collecting 100 rings. The key to collecting rings is not to get hurt. The rest takes care of itself. Keep the prickly areas in mind. And that's not really too many prickly areas. It's that one rail that sometimes you can get hit with the lasers. You know, if you do that, that's something in the game that you cannot predict when that's going to happen because it's totally random. Like back when I was grinding to try to get through, try to collect some rings here, I'd done the level at least 6 or 7 times in a row, and every time the laser did not. The lasers always worked in my favor, but there was a few times before that it was random. So I really don't know, a good strategy to suggest except just not boost through that section. That'll definitely help you out in the long run. Just try to take your time while going through there, making sure obviously to kill as many enemies as possible. Well, just try to get the enemies out of your way. That'll definitely help you out. Oh wow. Well, maybe it's using the boost, or using the slide in doing that. I'll give that a try. Sometimes usually I'll just dive or head straight towards the boost or the rail, but it seemed like whenever I'd done that before, it would always throw me off every time. But I'll definitely give that a shot. And maybe, if that throws you off, I would definitely suggest just go ahead and not use the don't use the boost and don't use the sliding move really close to the rail. I'll give that a try here, but okay, so it seems like if you just boost right forward, you'll gain a lot more rings that way, and you'll never miss. So you can try to do that. Just try to make sure that you line it up through the longest trail of rings. That'll definitely help you out in the long run, especially trying to collect the rings. Just either grinding or trying to do this mission. It will take time to try to figure out the best path to get all of the rings, or to get the most amount of rings. I'm sure there's well over, I believe the highest amount of rings you can collect is 999, so I'm sure there is a way, if you did take it slow and try to go after every ring you could find, you could easily gain 999 rings, but because that would involve, getting a lot of those rings, I would definitely suggest not worrying about it, and you'd have to go along those lower sections, which not only increases the chances of you dying just by falling down a pit, you also have to worry about spikes and just enemies in general, egg fighters with shields, electric shields, just different things like that. So definitely suggest not worrying about it if you can. You can collect a lot of rings through this section as well. I don't know why that rail doesn't throw me off or mess me up like the other one can. I guess because that one's over right beside a hole, and that one is just up against the building. So I guess every time it won't ever mess you up. Trying to go after every ring that you can find as well will definitely help you out. in the long run, especially while trying to go after that 800 for the mission, because you won't, you know, if you do happen to take damage, whether by the lasers or the barrels through here, you won't have to worry about losing that many rings. Again, not boosting into, you know, into the barrels. If you know you're going to hit the barrels and it's inevitable, try not to boost. Yeah, that'll definitely lower the amount of rings that will lower the damage that you take. And instead of losing 200 to 300 rings, you'll only lose 100 to 150, which won't hurt you in the long run. But you can see 657. That's about a good average for me through this section. But anyway, so we're not done yet. Sadly, we still have to go through that one low, or we have to go through that one last arrow chaser section, which will probably mess me up. Still have to go. Oh crap! Oh no. If you do get caught through this section, just boost, and try to not hit any barrels. You know, since you are heading towards the screen, it's really okay. Don't boost through this section. Maybe you can get the lasers to fire while going through there. Well, I never seen the right one shoot first, so I'm not sure exactly a good strategy to say there. But you can see, like, have well over 800 rings, so as long as you don't get hit by that one laser, you shouldn't have a problem with it. And if I don't get hit at all, yeah, this will be the best run I've ever had. So I'm pretty happy I've been able to catch that on camera. But it will definitely not be the best, because I missed a couple piles of rings back behind there. Ah, crap. Oh well. 985. So you can actually gain 999 just traveling along my path, so you don't have to slow down or worry about anything, which is always useful. But I'm gonna go ahead and, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. Well, let's see. Well, let me check something really quickly before I decide whether I'm going to end the video or not. 18 minutes. Well, they could write ballads about the way the surf brushed past you as you ran. Bravo, here, take this. Okay. You got a Brainiac dog. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I hate to, but I'm kind of running out of time, running out of space on my hard drive. So, just like the mission videos, I won't have any mission of the video, or the challenge to the video here. But next time we should, we'll get through the nighttime missions here. I may tack them on at the end of this video. I don't know quite yet, but either way, thank you everyone for watching. Until next time. Alright, so as I said, I probably would do, I'm going to put the nighttime missions here at the end of part 26. As always, we have 2 missions, beat it in 20 minutes, and then we have to beat Rooftop Run Night Stage in 20 minutes, which is pretty easy. Which bad guys to tackle? Okay, so this will say the same thing: which bad guys to tackle, which paths to take. It's up to you to make the right choices and save precious time. The nighttime missions are a little bit more predictable. They will stay the same consistently throughout the entire game, or throughout the entire time that you're doing the missions. They won't change all that often. The conditions that you have to do to the missions, however, time-wise, not time-wise, but well, yeah, I guess nothing will actually change while doing these missions, except for the enemies. As we go along, we'll see a lot more deep nightmares, and once we get into Chun'an, we'll see more masters. You can see why nightmares in general are bad, because they do like to block a lot more than any other type of enemy. The little Rexes aren't all that bad, but It's just that there are so many of them that they will get into big groups, or you'll usually see them in groups, and they're hard to kill, especially once you start using some of the more powerful combos that send small enemies or any enemy in general flying very far. You'll lose track of them, and that will hurt your time in the long run. But just remember to try to treat all of the, no matter which level it is, just try to treat that as the hardest level. So, like here, we have to for level 3 for this mission, we have to get it done in 10 minutes. You know, we have to get to the end of. We have to beat this level in 10 minutes. Well, you want to try to think like that. But as we go along, it will get a little bit harder because, and you won't be able to do as much, and it will get harder because as we go along with different levels, the length of those levels will increase, as well as the difficulty of the enemies, and just the levels in general. You know, the levels will get harder, and because you're being rushed all the time, you have to kind of you'll have to pick and choose more which rings you want to go after, which battles to try and collect every. Well, can't afford to do that. Which battles to try and go after, which. Oh crap! Really? I should remember that. I think there's one here. No, I guess that was a metal. Oh, okay, there we go. In which groups of enemies to try and collect a lot of the chaos experience from. I guess there was a reason to go down that alley. And while trying to do these missions, it will definitely help you out if you try to. If you plan on doing every level in a mission, just starting from level 1, and you just keep doing that same type of mission until you beat it, that will definitely help you out, because if you do them one at a time, like the way that I'm doing it, you'll end up hurting yourself in the long run, especially once you try to get to the harder missions for different levels. You will lose the any progress that you might have gained. You know, like trying to, if you go through here, which is this mission, which is the time trial mission, and then you go in and do the survival mission, you'll end up hurting yourself in the long run. And I don't think you actually have to fight this fight. I believe all you have to do is just flip the switch. So if you are pressed for time, you can definitely save yourself a lot of time by not fighting this fight. However, it will be difficult because you will have to, at some point, fight them, because you'll have to, I guess these guys you'll have to fight, but you'll have to at least get enough of them far enough away from you so that you can actually flip the switch. I believe if you're trying to flip a switch or open a door, you can actually get hurt. Well, if you take damage, you will lose any progress on that switch or door, so you do want to be careful and wary of that. So this Big Mother, they are, I was going to say, weaker than the Titans, but they don't seem to be. There we go. Okay, so I guess they are. Just, well, you want to try to collect all of the experience points from them while you're sitting on them, instead of having to run around and waste time doing it. But you can see why it is so useful to not go into a battle, especially up against a Titan or a Big Mother, with the Unleashed, because before you realize it, you know, you'll have already beat them. I was going to actually use the try to use the critical attack to try to gain some more experience points, because I know as I go along, I'll definitely wish that I had that so that I could level Sonic up. But because I had the Unleashed on, I killed the Big Mother pretty quickly. That's why I usually try not to use it as much as I can. But you can see defense-wise, the hardest regular enemy to kill would definitely be any version of the egg fighters. It seems like the ones with sword, well, I don't think it's any one robot in particular. Just trying to take them out. Of course, you know, them being able to attack you, I would definitely say these machine gun egg fighters are a little bit harder to take out because they can hit you from a pretty good distance away, and that will definitely hurt you and mess you up. Don't forget that there are a lot of tin rings in these doors. Obviously, you don't want to take too much time to try to go after them. There are no collectibles hidden in these doors, so you don't have to worry about that, or in any of these shops or anything. So you don't have to worry about that. But just trying to heal yourself, you'll definitely want to be careful. And if you do the time trial and then do the survival mission, one right after the other, instead of continuing doing one type of mission until you beat it all the way, it's definitely good to try to pick and choose the locations of your battles. It's like, say you do level 1 time trial, then you do level 1 survival. You'll definitely want to try and look for the worst or the biggest fighting sections so that you don't end up hurting yourself by trying to take on a big enemy or a big group of enemies like you normally would if you had a whole bunch of rings, because as you've already seen in Apotos, these survival missions will not allow you to heal at all, so you definitely want to be very careful. Like going up against both of these big mothers, a lot of these egg fighters, especially the ones with the machine guns. You definitely want to be careful. You definitely want to watch yourself and take it easy. Time-wise, I'm just going to go ahead and take the big mother out. As I said, I would have liked to use the critical attack, but I keep forgetting how long this level is, and then I just realized it, and I'm like, oh well, I've got to I can't waste time doing that. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's how you'll have to think about it. The longer we go, or the longer you go into these missions, and the more difficult ones, say Adabat, Chunan, Shamar, even Empire City to some degree, you'll definitely want to not collect every single bit, every single piece of every single Chaos Diamond you see or pass. That will end up hurting you in the long run. Time-wise, level 1 you can do it, but level 2 and 3 I definitely suggest not doing it, just because it's a lot more efficient if you don't go after that. You just do it if you just go through the level as quickly as possible and not worry about anything else. You know, no matter what it is, Chaos Diamond or Ring, just don't worry about it. And trying to learn sections like this, I very well may have been able to save a little bit of time instead of having to wait for that one saw blade. But that's kind of what I was talking about. You're trying to learn those saw blades and trying to get through them pretty quickly. That'll definitely help you out. But anyway, so here I am, almost here. Got about, if I was on the 10-minute time limit, I'd probably be screwed. But you never know, maybe. But no, because I got that one last fighting section. But thankfully, Sega did allow if you have to have those sections where Chip will say something to help you out. Thankfully, Sega made the clock stop. It's always useful. Sometimes, especially in older games, they never did. But anyway, so let me see, what do we have here? You can use these dark bats to jump off of. It's definitely a faster way to get down instead of going along the clock hands. I believe there's an electric one. No? Okay, well, thankfully they didn't stick an electric one there. this is that last big fight I'm talking about. Yeah, in 10 minutes I don't think I would have been able to, but this can be quick. That can be fixed pretty easily. Yeah, one. Nope. Well, maybe if I hadn't went back for those extra chaos diamonds, definitely. So maybe, you know, it's just trial and error, as I've said before. I have to practice a lot to try to figure out what you can and can't do. Let me see. I guess I'll finish leveling up life, and then I'll go strength and try to finish out strength. But anyway, so we have one more mission to do, the survival mission, and then I'll officially end the video, and then I'll continue on in Missouri in part 27. That spin, the arc of your jump, it's magnificent. Bravo. Here to okay. Brainiac dog again. Survival, you can actually go a little bit faster. No, yeah, okay. Well, I would suggest taking it slow to try to make sure that you don't run into any big problems with like spikes or electric barriers or anything like that, but you just want to so I guess, yeah, just, you know, take it easy, try to be careful while you're doing here, and let's see if this will work. Yeah, that was pretty useful. So if you want to use that as especially in a bunch of little Rexes, you may definitely want to try to use that. I don't know how effective it actually is in the long run, but you never know. Just remember, ouch. Oh, thankfully that didn't hurt too bad. And don't forget, you can level up you can level Sonic up during a level, no matter daytime or night. That'll definitely help you out. But getting hit this early definitely does not help you out in the long run, so you definitely want to be careful while doing that. But, you know, this is a pretty good level. I won't say it's a pretty good level. If you can use the critical attack on both Big Mothers, this may actually be a pretty fun, easy level to get a lot of experience points for Sonic during the night, or, you know, during the day you can use them for both. But I would still definitely suggest Shamar or Chun'e, or, well, I guess Empire City. You can get 40 Chaos Experience bars in Empire City. It's always good to try and do a sneak attack like that, so you can at least knock one or two guys out like that. Usually you won't have that many opportunities to jump down on someone's head like that. And to try to get the timing right to be able to use an aerial attack like that, it's not difficult, really. It's just you have to get the timing down right, and a lot of it just goes down to practice. I don't normally do that, so I'm not too familiar with that. And I did it a little bit too high, quite honestly. If I hadn't got lucky with the last two sets of attacks, I probably wouldn't have hit him, and it would have been just a waste of time. But I believe you kind of have up to 4 aerial attacks in one go, so that's something useful to keep in mind. But anyway, but yeah, I guess you could actually go through here a little bit faster if you were confident that you wouldn't take a lot of damage in one of these levels. Because there are no rings, you could actually go through this level pretty fast. And, you know, all you have to worry about is just Chaos Diamonds, but that's not, well, Chaos Experience Diamonds, but that's not that big of a collectible that wastes a whole lot of time. For me, the biggest thing was just going after all the rings that were there. It just, I'm always in that mindset that you have to collect a lot of rings, because I still haven't bought all the souvenirs for Wintos yet, and they're not they are overpriced, but they're not extremely expensive or outrageously expensive. A lot of the things, he does have a few exclusives that only you can buy from him there, foods and a few art books, I believe, that are a little bit expensive, a lot more than the other shopkeepers would have them, but for the most part, his items aren't that expensive, and you're not always worried about money whenever you have to buy a product from him or a bunch of products from him. While it is nice to have the rings, oh wait, I forgot to. There we go. While it is nice to have the rings, because especially while you're trying to buy the food, that will wear you down over time, or just trying to buy the souvenirs. But if you did play the NPC missions and these hot dog trial missions, you should have no problem with rings, even without grinding for rings. You shouldn't have any trouble whatsoever while using them, or about trying to collect rings or trying to keep rings. But it's always a smart idea to try to collect rings whenever possible. But just don't mess yourself up over. You know, if you go through a time trial mission, nighttime trial, a nighttime time trial mission, and you're trying to collect rings, and you don't complete the trial, well, you're not going to keep those rings that you wasted all that time collecting on, and you'll still have to redo the entire time trial. So you have to pick and choose which rings you want to go after a lot of the time. Not too bad. The machine gun egg fighters didn't get that big of a jump on me like last time, so that's always useful. Nightmares, if you can get them as soon as they appear, they'll do that kind of howling. If you can get them as soon as they do that, that's definitely useful. But you can see, even now my health bar is dropping pretty rapidly. And you just think of level 3, your bar is about 75% gone. And if you don't have a very big bar, you will definitely be hurting, especially taking this much damage. I've almost taken a quarter. I've almost lost a full quarter of health, and I'd be in a pretty bad shape right now if I was doing the third level. And that's why you want to try to upgrade your life while you're doing this. Well, before doing these missions, and you definitely want to try and not. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and break out the Unleashed. I'm sure there's a few upgrades that I could find in those barrels, but I'm not going to waste too much time going after it. But the the life bar, it's crap, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, let me think. The upgrade bar, what was I? Oh no, the level bar, or the life bar, upgrading it. Yeah, I would definitely be hurting right now if I was doing it the way I was now. I've lost nearly half of it. Well, I'd say a little bit over half. So even if I was doing level 2 right now, that would definitely be in a pretty bad way right now. So that's why you always want to try and upgrade everything as much as possible. Yeah, it may take a little bit of grinding here and there, but in the long run, it'll definitely help you out, especially trying to do the NPC missions or just these hot dog missions. And it'll also help you when you're trying to go for the S ranks. If you're someone who likes to try and complete a game, that'll definitely help you out. Or if you're someone who wants to try to go after the achievements or trophies, that'll definitely help you out, because you'll have to upgrade both Sonic the Hedgehog and the Werehog all the way. So you'll have to do it anyways. So, you might as well do it as soon as possible, because it will make your time trying to go after everything else, all the S ranks for both the day and nighttime. And these missions will make it go a lot easier. I definitely suggest, running through, I would say Empire City would probably be the best area to try and go through easily, because, as I said, you can gain 40 Chaos Experience. You can get your Chaos Experience bar up to 40, nearly 41. I can't think of anything that I could have done differently right off the top of my head, but I'm sure there was something that I could have done here or there to try to gain a little bit more time, or to try to push it up to 41. But I had it close enough that it really didn't seem to matter all that much whether I did or didn't. So, this kind of goes without saying, but for either the time trial or the survival, you want to be careful while going across those dark bats. Sega did a pretty good job on the accuracy of going across the dark bats and using them as a handle to be able to get across. They did a pretty good job with the accuracy. It's very rare that you actually miss if you do it right. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too often. Okay, so now I'll put some into strength and try to level that up. Again, I'm just gonna try to go for strength and life for now, and then I'll try to do some other things later on. But anyway, that's all the Spagonia hot dog missions. So I thank everyone for watching. We will do the Missouri day and night missions in part 27, and hopefully more than that. But until then, later everyone.